and welcome to Barbatus Catholic Podcast, the show where three Mexican dads talk about faith, life, and culture. We are your hosts,
Gustavo,
Ivan,
and Walter, and today we are going to talk about the importance of names. But first, a word from our sponsor. CMF Curo is a Catholic healthcare ministry that provides families nationwide with a better solution centered around the whole health, spirit, mind, and body. CMF Curo partners with one of the nation's leading health sharing ministries so that its members can share their medical burdens in community. At CMF Curo, members also invest in their whole health with access to a spiritual director, concierge services, and health and spiritual resources. Find out if CMF Curo is a better solution for your family. Visit mycatholichealthcare.com to learn more about CMF Curo. That's mycatholichealthcare.com. So
I also like how every time we come back from the sponsor, you always start the episodes by
So it's mostly or so.
It's good though.
Yeah,
It's got class, it's got character.
it's like my thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's like the anywho.
Anywho
Dang.
t-shirts are forthcoming, by the way.
Mm.
Did it again.
That would be
So
great.
if we're gonna have a donate button, so you can donate some monies for us to make some merch in the future. Anyways,
It's
welcome.
actually just going to be more clothes for us.
more t-shirts.
Pretty much. And our wives.
You know, I have been buying like plain t-shirts.
Uh-huh.
I figured out the brand of the t-shirts that the company that I work for prints their t-shirts on because they're so soft.
Mhm.
And they are like maybe $10 on Amazon. So instead of trying to figure out which t-shirt style fits best, I just can buy like the same t-shirt. Like my plan at some point is to buy like a dozen
The same.
of the same t-shirt
Mhm.
and wear like a uniform every day, like jeans and t-shirt and the same
Like Steve
shoes.
Jobs.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's a YouTuber, Matt Diavella. You know
Uh-huh.
who he is?
I don't know.
He makes like he's a filmmaker. And he just released a video where he's been wearing the same shirt
Mm-hmm.
for like 300 and something days. So he wears the same shirt. I mean, obviously, he has more of those.
Yeah, not the same shirt 365 days without washing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he has like so many of those shirts, but that's exactly what he wears every day. So that way, he's a minimalist, so he doesn't have to think about like, what am I going to wear today? He knows exactly what he's going to wear.
Yeah, I think that I've read enough, but like I think I am a minimalist at heart, but it's not pragmatic when you have a family, and you need more than just t-shirts and jeans.
True.
But anyways,
Your church clothes.
yeah, your Sunday best
Mhm.
for sure.
And you got to have a suit
Right.
on top of that, right?
Yes.
So, and then you need the shoes to go with that suit, and then those shoes can't be the same you wore with your casual Sunday clothes.
That is true.
Dude, it's so expensive being Catholic.
Yeah, and then you need
Dude, you know the shoes that I got for your wedding
Mhm.
when I was in the wedding party? I haven't worn them since.
Really?
Yeah.
that's the other thing that just adds on.
But you've worn the suit, right?
I worn the suit
Yeah, I've
like
seen you wear the suit.
into oblivion.
Yeah.
I wore that suit like almost every Sunday when I was cantering.
Hey, it looks good on you.
I mean, I do
Thank you.
get it for people that are like that. They only have the same outfit like Jobs did, but it's not, like you said, practical for.
I mean, if you're Zuckerberg and you wear jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie every day to work, granted, the t-shirts that he wears are like $300 a piece. So
Well, it's a
like,
waste of money. But
if anybody that
kinda-
works at Canvas, the company that makes the t-shirts that I like, feel free to send us a few double XL for me. Thank you. So names. that was a nice little tangent.
yeah,
Sorry to be so abrupt. We didn't start the clock, by the way, so
Oh.
I don't know how much time we spent talking about T-shirts?
Who's counting?
About 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
So,
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I went with my family to Williams and Flagstaff this past weekend because it was Oliver's 5th birthday, which now makes me feel like I'm really old because I have a 5-year-old. All of a sudden, I feel like I don't know, super old. So I'm like, I have a 5-year-old.
I have an 11-year-old. So
Do you feel
thank
older?
Yes, every day. In a month, she turns 12. So
Oh my
God.
goodness.
Yikes.
You
Almost
almost
a
have a
teenager.
I
teenager.
almost have a teenager.
Oof. God
Pray
bless
for
you.
Gustavo.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to Williams, Arizona, and we hung out with a good priest friend of ours, and he was talking about how Mexicans have multiple names, and I was like, I think that's a thing in the Filipino culture as well.
Oh, it totally is.
But like el comal le dijo a la olla because we told him that Mateo, his middle name is Jerome. Um, so for those that don't know about how legal names are defined in Mexico, you have your first name, and then you can have multiple middle names, depending, and then you have your dad's last name and your mom's last name.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, I have 4 names. I guess you two first name, a middle name, and then my surnames, I guess we can call it. So when I came to the US, I would always introduce myself as Walter Cantu. And that was it. And I was like, oh, that has a nice ring to it, Walter Cantu. But then I went to get my driver's license, and I was like, okay, Walter Cantu, fill out the form, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, okay, but your passport says Walter Antonio Cantu Lopez. And that's what needs to be in your driver's license. And I'm like, sí va a caber. It did fit. So,
Like fully, is it not truncated or anything?
no, it's not
Like
truncated.
LOP?
No,
It doesn't
no,
end in P randomly.
no, that's good. It doesn't end in P.
Lope.
LOP.
But now, it's funny, for all the legal documents that I had to change, like my bank account and things like that, because it was not like technically my legal name, my full name. So now it's like all of these aliases that I can go through. Sometimes I get mail like Walter Lopez or Antonio Lopez.
Who
I'm
the
like,
hell is this?
yeah, it's like the mailman is like, is somebody else living
You
in
tell
this town?
Tiana, who's Antonio Lopez? Oh, that's me. Yeah.
No,
that's
wait,
me.
yeah. All right.
And why does it get mail delivered here?
Yeah. Who gave?
Oh, wait.
It's like,
Never mind. My bad.
so names, yeah, and then to add things to being complicated, it's like I'm Mexican, but I have like an English name. Well, my middle name is Antonio, so I guess not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you also have an H.
yeah,
It's not Walter, like WALTER.
It's Walther.
Walther.
No, but the H is silent. That's the thing. It's like the H is in Thomas.
Yeah.
Right. That's always a good icebreaker. But it was like, how
Yeah.
do you pronounce your name? And sometimes people, they just like say Walther.
Well, the
or
gun
Walter.
brand is pronounced Walther.
Is it?
The firearm company, yeah, it's Walther.
But it's a German
It's a
company.
German company. Oh.
In any case, it would be Walter.
Walter.
You know who called me Walter? Otto's dad is they are all from German descent. So I would get into their house and it would be like, Walter. That's how he would greet me. So shout out to my tío Otto if he's listening. But do you have 4 names legally?
No. Dude, it's so weird with me.
Wait,
So my name is Ivan Garcia. So my parents are like, vamos a darle nada más un nombre a este morro. So, me llamo Ivan. Or Ivan.
Depends on what language you're saying it.
Yeah, and then to make things worse, both my parents were Garcia when they met each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
not uncommon.
Yeah.
Garcia is
so
like
Garcia,
one of the most popular
Garcia,
names.
and then my name Ivan, it's not even a Mexican name, it's a Russian name because it's thrown like bull. Russian.
Business.
Business. So yeah, I don't know. I always felt like something was missing growing up because I didn't have a middle name.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to give all my kids middle names.
You didn't feel Mexican enough.
I didn't, dude. Both my sisters, they're the what is it, the bookend and tail end, the oldest and youngest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Okay.
even know that's how you say it. But anyways, they both have first and middle names.
Wait,
then-
what's Monica's middle name?
Adriana,
Ah.
Monica Adriana Garcia, and then she married a Garcia, so it's like triple Garcia. Dude, we're everywhere. We're like gremlins.
Yeah.
Put water in us, we just pop everywhere. And then Victoria, her name is Victoria Guadalupe. And then my brother and I, we don't have middle names.
Really?
Yeah, our
Oh, you
parents still
know,
love
fun
us.
fact, first Mexican president changed his name to Victoria Guadalupe.
Really?
Yeah, because he assumed victory or attributed the victory of Mexico's independence to Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Oh,
There you
Little known
go.
fact.
Victoria, if you're listening to this, there you go.
There you go. You're named after the first male president of the Mexican United States of Mexico. Sorry, Vicky. You have a middle name?
No,
Just Gustavo Estrella?
Gustavo Estrella, but I did have I when I became a resident, that's when I axed the second last name.
Wait, you
just
can
my
do that?
mom's. Yes.
You just go to the Social Security and change your name
I
legally?
think it had to be in the application. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But yeah, since I had already been working in the States for a while, by the time that I became a resident, I've always had like issues with paperwork, and it's like, well, it says two last names here. What, are you the same person? And I'm like, so Caro just said, just simplify it.
So what's
Just
your
get rid
mom's
of
last
one.
name?
Carvajal.
Estrella Carvajal?
Yeah, and then Carvajal, there's like two schools of thought of how you do it,
With
either
a
with a
V
V or
or
with a
V.
V.
Yeah.
Like some of my brothers, I think, do it with a V. And some with like a V. We're like the.
In the same family.
It's just so weird, but yeah, I didn't get a second name. Only my brother and my sister have. Out of 5, 2 of them got like.
But I
middle
ask
names.
myself, why? Why only give 2 kids? Why not just give all the kids?
Well, sometimes
Is it because
I don't know.
paperwork in the future you don't just want to deal with it?
No, because you wouldn't do it for any of them then.
See, like my mom was like consistent with my parents, but mainly my mom, because there's like intention of how I got the Antonio in my name. It was like an afterthought. It was like actually intentional, depending on who you ask, between my mom and my dad. Regardless of that, I think that most parents are like, yeah, these names are like they go together, or I guess depending on the season or whatever. Because like my sisters, my middle sister Tanya, she has a Russian name, and then like a Hindu name in the middle name, like Yasodhara or something like that. Well, that's her name. It's like something like that, like Hindu inspired. And then my younger sister, she has like a more French name, Liliana, and then Jacqueline. So we're all over the place. So I think that that's why I wanted us to talk about this episode, because of how important names are, and just to give it a little biblical context of why we decided to talk about this topic, because I pitched this in one of the meetings that we had, and if you take a look at several different examples, there are like different points in the Old Testament and the New Testament where God changes the names of peoples to change their mission. So you have Abram, who is called Abraham, as the father of many nations.
Mhm.
Then you have Jacob, that becomes Israel. And then in the New Testament, you have, well, there's many others, but the ones that I thought I would bring up that are more known is like Simon became Peter, and then Saul became Paul. So whether we want it or not, the way that or the names that were chosen for us, and if you happen to be parents, the names that we choose for our children are going to shape their identity somehow. So it's not something to be taken lightly. Um, so I think that it would be fun for us at least to talk about like the names of our kids and any special meanings of that. For anyone expectant mothers and fathers that would like to take advice from or like not advice, but like it's like, oh, that's the train of thought of those guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because
Póngale nombres cristianos a los niños de veras.
or in Mexico, it was El Día de tu Santo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, if it was like
Whatever is in the almanac.
yeah, like December 12th or whatever, then
Your name is
surely
Guadalupe.
going to be Guadalupe. Either
I'm
you're a
lucky
boy or
my
a
name
girl.
is not Natividad or Jesus.
Yeah, you're
Well,
a
not
Christmas
lucky.
baby. Yeah.
But
The day our podcast launched, February 2nd, Day de la Candelaria. So
Yeah.
my grandfather,
Candelario.
that's my grandpa's name
Cande.
because he was born that day.
there you go.
Don Cande.
Don
Sí.
En
Cande.
paz descanse.
Hasta el cielo, Don Candelario.
Exactamente.
So and there are some names that I mean I don't have any off the top of my head, but there are some names that are not that desirable
Oh,
in the
of course.
calendar as a
Yeah.
saint in Spanish at least.
It's Felicity. It sounds good in English, but Felicitas.
Sí, está raro.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody
No
who's
offense
named
to Saint
Felicitas.
Felicity.
No hay un San Pánfilo, San Teófilo.
Teofilito.
Teófilo.
Como dijo Don Teofilito.
Teofilito. It's a good one.
You guys are dating yourselves.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. Why don't we? You want to kick it off?
Sure. Yeah, my kids. So our firstborn Lily, before we even found out that if she was a boy or a girl, we wanted to name him or her after Saint Joseph. We both have a huge devotion to Saint Joseph. So when we found out that it was going to be a girl, we wanted it still attributed to Saint Joseph. So the lilies of Saint Joseph. So Lily, and then my wife has a devotion to Saint Therese of Lisieux, the little flower. So Lily, it's a flower. Therese. So that's kind of how it came. Lily Therese. With Pia, I've always liked the name Pia. I don't know, because I mean I have a huge devotion to Padre Pio. But just the name Pia to me is just so like simple and sweet. And I was working at St. Joseph's Church a few years ago, and one of my friends, she was pregnant at the time. She was the RE director, and her husband weren't telling anyone what they were going to name their daughter. And then one day we were going over like our calendar, and she had the due date, and then she had Pia's due date, and I saw it, and she saw that I looked at it, and she's like, no, and she like closed it right away. She's like, you're the only one that knows, don't tell anyone. And but ever since that, like, I mean, I've even before like I saw the name Pia written on her planner, I've always thought like, man, I really like the name Pia. So when we found out we were having another girl, I told Nayeli, I was like, can either her middle name, can it be Pia? And she's like, yeah. So then we were thinking her name was going to be Fatima Pia, but me la cambió like a week before Pia was born. We were just praying about it. She's like, I really like the name Elizabeth. So then we're like, oh, I like it. So that's how Elizabeth Pia came to be. And then now we're pregnant with our third, and we're not going to find out if it's a boy or a girl.
Oh, wow.
We're not going to find out.
You are brave.
Dude, it's hard. Like, it's, we really want to, but we kind of decided like, okay, we're just going to keep each other accountable.
Is your mom going to give it away though? Is your mom the ones that is like, está picuda la panza, ha de ser niño?
Oh, dude, even with the first two pregnancies, they're like, va a ser niña.
Can you
Como
tell?
se mira la panza.
Can you tell the story of the gender reveal with Pia?
I don't remember.
Oh, never mind. Then don't worry about it.
There's a story? Am I supposed to know this? I feel like a terrible father right now.
That you were saying that I think it was Nayeli that referred to Pia as she in that group chat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the punchline of the story. So
yeah, so we were gonna do a gender reveal, and we had pink frosting in a cupcake, and my family came over, And then Nayeli was saying something like, "Oh, it's gonna be for Pia." And then people heard like Pia, and then she's like, "Oh no!" And then everyone was like, "Oh, it's a girl!" And we're like, "Yay!"
Yeah, the party's
Dude,
canceled.
I was so excited. I went to go buy a cupcake. I got pink frosting. I like, was like shoving that pink frosting in there. It's gonna be perfect. We're gonna cut it. It's gonna be great. And then, but it's okay. Like
You
we
still
loved
had
it.
cupcake?
Everyone was
Yeah.
super excited. Yeah, we still had the cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I thought that I was gonna ruin it. I was like, please don't say anything. Don't say anything. So I'm glad I didn't do it.
It's a Michael Scott moment.
Yeah.
But so now that we're pregnant with our third, since we're not gonna know if it's a girl, we still don't have a name. If it's a boy,
I love this.
Yeah.
dude. So if you know me, I love Tolkien. I love talking about Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Dodgers. I'm wearing a hat right now as we're recording. And then I'm a huge Lakers fan. And from the Lakers.
No. I don't think you guys know how big of a Lakers.
I guess they're about to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a legend named Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. Kobe Bryant is my boy. Like the day he died, it was like one of the saddest days of my life. I not even kidding. Like I cried like a little kid. I was so sad. I was devastated. I mean, so sad. So I told my wife, I was like, babe, if we have a boy, I really want to name him Maximilian. And then his middle name is going to be Kobe. So it's a play on Maximilian Kobe. Just, don't just take out the L.
Well, I know, but has my comadre said yes?
Not yet.
She
But
still needs
I'm working on
convincing.
it. I'm working on it. So
We're
if we have a
working on it.
boy, it's going to be Maximilian Kobe.
We're gonna put a poll in
That's a great
the
idea.
in the show notes, so you can vote.
And on Instagram, put a poll
Yeah,
on
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Oh, there we go. That's easier.
Mhm.
Yeah,
People
we'll
go
do
to
a poll.
Instagram more than they go to the website.
Should his name be Maximilian Kobe? Yes or yes?
Those are the options.
Those are the options.
Yes or
I think it's
huevo.
gonna be well. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a tight.
I tell my
poll.
wife, I said that the Dodgers need a future third baseman, and Max Kobe is going
Max
to be
Kobe. Dude, Max
Dude,
Kobe.
that's
Kobe
such a
Garcia.
badass name.
Max Kobe Garcia.
Max Kobe Garcia. Are you kidding me? That sounds like a baseball player. Now coming up to bat, Max Kobe or Max Garcia or Kobe Garcia. I don't know, whatever he wants to go by.
Wasn't Kobe the name of the in Barcelona Olympics? It was not spelled Kobe. It was like Kobi.
Oh, the mascot.
the mascot.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But
Let's say it is. I don't know. We can.
hey,
It's
Google.
funny that we always try to find out these things and we have computers
I
in
know.
front of us and none of us are
Let's
able to
find
look
out.
this stuff up.
Oh,
oh yeah, we have computers.
1982 Barcelona Olympics mascot.
Watch it. It's gonna be Kobe.
Please hold. Where's everybody from?
I think we just lost
Oh,
like
yeah.
87 listeners right now.
Kobe, Kobi, was the official mascot of the 1982. I had it wrong.
Well, the more you
Summer
know,
Olympics.
the more you know. You're welcome, people.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
See,
Kobe.
we don't only talk about our
See?
faith here.
This is Kobe.
We go deep in the memories
Kobe.
of Walter's
Kobe.
innocence
Sorry.
to find out what lurks in the mind of
Gustavo.
Walter.
Tell us about your children and how they got their names, please.
Well, for us, it was kind of like a typical list. You start making list of names that you like, names that she likes, you like, and whatnot.
Did you have names that were vetoed by you or by Caro because you knew
Yes.
someone that was like, no, me cae mal, no le pongas así?
Exactly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
No, that happens.
Yeah. Or not
That's the name
necessarily.
of my ex. No.
Yeah, not necessarily like of just knowing that we didn't like the name.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't give specific reasons, like no, not that one,
Oh, okay.
or if it was like a mutual somebody that we knew with that name was like no, definitely not, or
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just like a traditional make a list and go down the line, and we always wanted for our firstborn. We liked Ana Sofia for some reason. It always rang nice to us, the sound of it, and we always wanted to give our children names that were Hispanic, that they were in Spanish. No disrespect to Kobe Garcia, but we didn't. We wanted to keep it really like Mexican, right?
Yeah.
And even when people would name our kids or something, we were calling it like we would correct them. It's like, no, not Anna, it's Ana Lucia. And we were really adamant about making Ana Lucia stick as like a, because people would call her Ana or Anna,
Oh, okay.
right? It's like, no, Ana Lucia. Ana Lucia, it's like, it goes together, you know? And so Ana Sofia was our first choice. But when we were about, when, let me get it right. My grandmother was named Lucia, my mom's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always tell Caro, like, are you guys expecting yet? You know, are you guys expecting yet? I'm the last one of my siblings to get married and have kids. And so she was really looking forward to having a great grandson from us, right? And she was expecting it a lot. So she would just tell us a lot. It's like, she was like, so? It's like, any day now or what? What's happening? They're like, Grandma, we got married on Saturday. Just chill. I was like,
Bueno, pues ya.
Ayer fue la boda.
Yeah,
Espérese.
so anyway, she was really looking forward to having, again, like I said, a great grandson of ours, and she passed away. And then right after she passed away, that's when we became pregnant with Ana Lucia. So when we had Ana Sofia, but since my grandma had passed, we said, you know what, we're gonna honor her in that way because she didn't get to meet her. So it was Ana Lucia, and it had a nice ring to it. So we kept Sofia. We just pocketed it and said, well, we'll keep it. See what the second one brings. And for the second one, we kind of like took Sofia out of the shelf again, and that one's attributed to me picking Frida as a first name. Not because Frida Kahlo, everybody says, oh, because Frida Kahlo and you guys are Mexican, and her art is like, not necessarily. I mean, I'm not a crazy fan of Frida Kahlo's art. But I just really like the flow of it.
Frida Sofia.
Yeah. But back then we really didn't do what you opened up the episode with, to have like that frame of mind. For us, it was most like it sounds nice. It goes with the last names, Estrella,
it's in Spanish.
Villanueva. It's
So
in
it checked the
Spanish.
boxes.
Yeah, so it checked all the boxes. It sounded good. And we felt that, giving that little homage to my grandma, Lucia, that was like a nice ring to it and whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, Frida means peace, and Sofia means wisdom. So now in retrospect, you're like, okay, we didn't mess up too bad.
Yeah.
And Ana Lucia is like, Ana is favorite grace, and Lucia is light, as you know, because you have a Lucia.
Yeah. I mean, Saint Anne is Mary's mother, so can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
It just so happens that Frida Sofia has the same name as the daughter of Alejandra Guzman.
Caro said, "Don't bring that up." She told me, like, "Do not bring that up."
Okay, you can.
It's
you
like,
can cut it
yeah,
out
I'm not
of
gonna
it.
bring it up. It's like, no, but it's funny, and everybody would tell us, like, "Oh, it's because of Alejandra Guzman." It's like, no, it's not because of Alejandra Guzman. It's just like a random
Carolina's
name.
a really big fan of Alejandra Guzman. Let's just want everybody to know that.
Gustavo was like,
Cut it out.
cut it out.
Sorry, Caro.
Stop.
Whoopsie. I'm like burning bridges with all the wives, man. Like Nayeli, I'm already on her list.
You're on the Dunzo list.
I'm on that Dunzo list. This is next thing you know is gonna be like, welcome to Barbatus Catholic Podcast with Ivan and Gustavo.
Yeah, you'll just do the voice intro for us because
I know it
sounds really nice, and I want
today
consistency.
we're gonna talk about, and then Ivan's voice is gonna be like something.
Yeah.
You're
You're gonna be like the intro and the closer, and then that's it.
So for us, I think it had to be. We had several different criteria for the names of the kids. We wanted the names of the kids to be spelled the same way in Spanish and in English. And we were not necessarily wanting to have Latin names, but it just kind of happened that they have a nice ring to it, and some of them have the same spelling. So our oldest is Oliver, and just Deanna had that name in her mind, and I was like, "That's a cool name." And then for a middle name, we chose Ambrose in English, and mainly because my dad, like you said, that the almanac, whatever was the
Hmm.
almanac, they would name you. My dad's name is Antonio Ambrosio, so he was born on December 7th, Saint Ambrose. So it was kind of a tribute to actually both our parents, because oddly enough, Deanna's dad and my dad had the same birthday. So Oliver Ambrose. And then we found out that we were having a second boy, Emilio. We wanted Emilio's name came about in a kind of like a funny way, because Deanna wanted a name with a nickname that would be like Milo. And I was like, Milo, como la leche, con
I thought it was
chocolate.
because she really liked the Night at the Roxbury.
Then I did the Rex.
Emilio!
We knew that we were gonna get that a lot, but it's kind of surprising that not a lot of people get that
I thought about the
reference.
milk too when you said it
Milo,
like that. I was like, what is
yeah,
a brand of milk that's green?
And this is why
yeah.
Gustavo and me are very different.
Yeah, exactly.
um, but Emilio, because kind of like a strong
Hmm.
name, and then his middle name is Augustine, because we were like, okay, an Ambrose and Augustine makes sense, the Western fathers. Um, and that was kind of like, well, originally Emilio's middle name was Benicio, which didn't stick for very long. So we're like, well, just go with a theme. And obviously, like we were talking about, like Deanna and I were like very like into the faith. Like, okay, these are gonna be the patron saints of the children. Um, I don't know if there's a Saint Emile. There might be. There's a Saint Oliver Plunkett, who used to be a priest. I don't know. It's kind of an obscure saint, but anyways, they have their icons of Saint Ambrose and Saint Augustine, and hopefully they don't turn out like an Ambrose and an Augustine. But given their personalities, that might be the case. That Emilio's going to be an Augustine at heart, Augustinian. And then we had the Rose Among the Thorns, Lucia, Therese. Have a That's one of the things that all three of us have in common. We have a Therese and a Lucia
Hmm.
in our families, and of course, if you have a Catholic household, there has to be a Therese, I guess. También, also because we have a big devotion to the little flower, and Lucia because we picked that name because it was spelled the same way in English and Spanish, I believe, and then we loved Lucy, not the show, but the name.
Hmm.
And and now with our fourth baby that God willing will be receiving in a couple months, Mateo, and that's basically pure Spanish name, not just like Emilio, I guess. And but we chose his middle name as Jerome, because now we have Augustine, Ambrose, Jerome,
Jerome.
and then one of their cousins is Gregory. So if you put them together, you technically have the Western Fathers of the Church.
Why not?
It's like when they get it's family gatherings and such. So that would be like a fun little things, like dress them up for All Saints Day.
Yeah.
And we also would celebrate like their Dia de su Santo. How do you say Dia de su Santo in
Namesake,
English? Namesake.
I think.
I have congratulated people for their namesake, and they look at me weird. Like it's not as
I don't think it's very common here.
Yeah.
it's not.
Mm-mm. In
Mm,
Mexico, sí.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's like when but with Antonio, it's like Saint Anthony, but you have a bunch of them, right? You have Saint Anthony of Padua, Saint Anthony of the Desert, San Antonio de las Alazanas, which even know what Alazanas mean. Anyway, if you're from Chihuahua, let us know if you know about that. But do you pray to your patron saints? Like, is there a Saint Gustavo? Have you looked for?
I haven't looked. I don't think there is one.
No.
Because the name comes from like
Gustav sounds French.
Gustav or
Once again, we have
Where
computers in
from?
front of us that we are not using.
yeah.
Do you know if there's a Saint Ivan?
There is not a saint. Not that I know of. I think I've also Googled it and I never found a Saint Ivan.
Yeah.
I do know that my name, the name Ivan, I mean, it means John in Russian,
Mm-hmm.
but the name, it means dado por Dios, given by God.
Okay.
That's what Ivan means.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Wow.
God gave me to my parents.
There
Yeah.
is a qué regalazo.
¿Verdad que sí? Thanks, Walter.
Yeah.
Qué regalote.
Qué regalote. Bueno,
Hey, hey.
There is a French saint called Saint Galtier, which is Galtier is like the French version of Walter, and I looked him up, and I don't know a lot about him, but one of the things that that's funny that I thought that was funny about him is that he wanted to be a hermit. So he wanted nothing to do with the world. He just wanted to be recluse in prayer, and I think people were like asking him to be the bishop of a
Mhm.
certain city, and they would like drag him out of his cave where he was a hermit and put him in the abbey,
Uh-huh.
and then he would escape. And then I think the Pope had to like reprimand him and be like, you need to stay in your post for, obedience and things like that. But it's like sometimes that doesn't sound like a bad idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If I ever go missing,
I just Googled it. If there's a Saint Ivan, there is a Saint Ivan.
Oh yeah?
His name is Saint Ivan of Rila, the
Okay.
Bulgarian saint who was known as a saint while he was still alive.
Oh.
Look at that.
Okay, if you were a saint, Saint Ivan Garcia, what would you be the patron saint of?
Probably the patron saint of obnoxious sports fans because that's what I can be. Especially being an LA fan, we're the most obnoxious fan base.
Los Dodgers.
I would agree with
Los
that.
Dodgers.
At least you're a Rams fan and not a Raiders fan.
I'm not a
offense to
Raiders
any
fan.
Raiders.
Raiders are.
Yeah.
They're a breed of their own.
I'll be nice, but
Yeah.
I'm not a Raiders fan. But yes, I am a Dodgers fan, Laker fans, and probably patron saint of obnoxious fans.
Gustavo?
Mine's easy because my kids already told me what I'm going to be the patron saint of.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Like on Father's Day, they gave me this book that they put all these different, they illustrated them themselves and they each give me one. And Lucia's book had me as being the patron saint of grilling.
Oh.
So
Prove
it's
it.
Grilling saint of carne asada.
I really like making carne asada.
Sorry, patron saint of carne asada.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
And she drew me like with a grill and with wings.
That's actually really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. you know, is it Saint Lawrence who's the patron saint of
that's what, yeah, turn me
cooks?
over. I'm done on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be my next
He's a patron saint
costume.
of comedians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what he said when they were
Oh.
cooking him, literally.
We should probably talk about how Gustavo and Walter are the same person. In the last All Saints party that was at your
Correct.
house,
Uh-huh.
we did not talk to each other
No.
about what we were going to dress up as. And then we showed up. Well, I showed up at your house. You were already there because
Yeah.
you lived there. And what was I wearing?
You were wearing the same thing that I was wearing. I went as St. Francis of Assisi, and you were literally, it was like a shade darker of brown, but it was the exact same thing.
Let's just say that I was Bonaventure.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
So I should probably post that.
Yeah,
picture.
we'll
say
post
that
that picture up.
Picture has to be
It's
going
really
on
good.
Instagram.
So-
There is a servant of God currently named Gustavo Maria Bruni, who was an Italian boy that's being investigated for possible sainthood. He was a pious child who expressed desire to be a priest and exhibited unusual holiness for a small child. He died of typhus at 7.
Ooh,
So maybe soon.
there you go.
Mhm.
Let's start praying for you.
Yeah, I'm
Patron saint.
definitely going to do that. That's great you brought it up.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I think I would be the patron saint of I don't know, sourdough. I don't know. Hobbies of things that you can only eat and drink. That's pretty much my hobbies in a nutshell. But anyways, going to the whole point of why we started talking about names in this episode is to pretty much um, tell you how we picked names for our kids, and if you ever come into the position where you are a parent expecting a child, pray about what name God wants to have that kid, because He is the creator of all life. We are merely co-creators of that specific life, so He already has a name chosen for him or her. We are just conduits for that specific name to come to be.
Yeah, it is great too when you're living liturgically to celebrate those names for your they do have a patron saint that they're named after. Figure out if there's any tradition or anything, because us with Ana Lucia, we do St. Lucy's. So she
Which
wakes
is
us up with
the crown of
the crown
lights.
of lights. We haven't actually done real candles yet because
The age.
fire,
Yeah.
the age.
You're a responsible
and
parent.
she has to be like juggling a tray of hot chocolate in front of her to wake us up with. So
Oh, and Lucicater.
so it's a nice tradition that we have. December, there's a lot of celebrations at the house because St. Lucy's is one of them, and we
It's after
eat
Our Lady,
sweets.
right? December 13th.
Mhm.
Yeah, with Oliver we do, there's no specific things that we do for. Well, maybe Saint Ambrose has like some baked sweets, and that's where you gave me the idea of making like the baking with the saints, like the this one day we're gonna do Barbatus presents baking with the saints, the liturgical guide to sweets and treats.
Yeah.
But yeah, celebrate, because put a little bit more joy in your life. Know when your patron saint's day is celebrated. Let us know what you be the patron saint of in the future. There was a saint your name. Ivan, Cito, final thoughts.
Dude, I love names. I think I feel like names have always been like there's like a lot of power behind names, like like your lineage, like
yeah.
Ivan, son of Adrian, Adrian, son of Candelario. Just like an example, but like it's been like tradition is like that, like it's like your name says a lot about obviously who you are or who your family is. So I don't know, I love looking at names and what they mean. And so when you pick a good name for your child, I don't know, it's like it feels good.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling. So yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Barbatus Catholic Podcast, the show where three Mexican dads talk about faith, life, and culture. If you like the show, please consider subscribing to the podcast, sharing it on social media, leaving a rate and comment and review on Apple Podcasts, and recommending it to your friends and family. And if you didn't like it, well, just keep it to yourself and let others make their own mistakes. You can follow us on Instagram at Barbatus Catholic Podcast. Send us an email at hello@barbatuscatholicpodcast.com. On the web, we are at www.barbatuscatholicpodcast.com, where you'll find the show notes for this episode and more. And, name your kids Catholic names so they can have patron saints who are interesting for them in heaven.
And there's another reason to celebrate that day.
Yeah.
Have sweets.
More cake throughout the year. We need more
Which
cake.
is what's important in life.
Bless us, Solanus, Casey.
Pray for us.